So it turns out yesterday, I just lied to you. Why? I don't know. I guess I just like lying. But here's what I said. Grasping Veins just doesn't work. You just don't get the damage multiplier. I can't for the life of me figure out why this would be possible. The problem with the fact is that I just was completely wrong. Well, not completely wrong. In fact, I have hundreds of people watching me be correct in that moment when I made that video. It's a very short one, but I had reports coming into me that Grasping Veins wasn't giving a damage multiplier when you activated it. Now, I saw a lot of confusion on the previous video. People were saying, oh, because of the Ring of the Sacrilegious Soul. No, that's a separate test that we did. We did just testing Grasping Veins and then just testing Ring of the Sacrilegious Soul. And for the ring, that is super bugged. That one still very much is not giving you the crit chance. That one is still very much not giving you the crit damage. When you activate it through the ring, which for people who have never used the ring before, maybe you're new to the Necromancer, that always worked in the past. So before that worked, now it doesn't. That's a new bug. Reported it to the devs. Hopefully they take a look at it. But manually casting Grasping Veins does work, and I didn't believe it until Cheetahs from the Sanctuary Discord actually reached out in a comment on that video and said, hey boss, when I use it, it's working. So something with whatever you're doing has got to be wrong. So I went back and did my due diligence and I tested it. And then I tested it again. And then I tested it with and without. And then I tested it going into the dummy because I thought, hey, you know what? Maybe this is a problem with the dummy, which is kind of a really big problem. Way back in the day, the dummy, when it was first released, was incredibly bugged. Like most things didn't work on it. Like you couldn't generate corpses off of it. And basically that made us all very gun shy about the viability of using the dummy for testing because it didn't work. And then they fixed the dummy. And as far as we could tell, other than some interesting stuff where you can kind of respawn the dummy multiple times, but it only shows one. So all of a sudden it looks like you're doing double damage, like literally double instances of damage. It's a pretty fun bug whenever it happens. But the dummy has been very good at testing these things now. It seemingly properly represents the game state. But I had hundreds of people watching me testing on the dummy, showing it not working. I got the wildest theories. Maybe it has to be able to apply the pull and the dummy can't be pulled. That's not how it worked in the past. It just has to apply damage. But hey, maybe that's the issue. So I went and tested out in the real world against the various rats and snakes and highwaymen. And I came back here into the dummy. And I just want to very quickly show you the data just so that you can have that proof as opposed to just me blowing smoke up your butt here. But let's go ahead and take a look at that. So if you just wanted to like very quickly look at it, first we basically went and collected all the data from those quick clips that you saw from me just smacking people out in the real world without and with Grasping Veins currently activated with a ring that has a 50% damage multiplier for Grasping Veins. And the long and short of it is you could very quickly see the fact that yes, we were in fact getting a higher average damage. And just for the people who don't like to do the math at home, basically if you take this number and take this number, it's showing a 43% damage increase. Yes, I double checked that I didn't have any other damage to crowd control. I didn't have any other damage to like, I don't know, special nieces like slow or whatever. I don't have any Shadow Blight procs up. I don't have Consuming Corpses procs up. I don't have Scent of Death up. I don't have Flesh Eater up, etc., etc. So I now feel very strongly. I think that Grasping Veins out in the wild absolutely works. And if I were to continue to get data points to fill out here, we would get stronger numbers that would more easily represent this 50% damage increase. Now, what about on the dummy though? That's where I thought I had it. I said, oh, it must be the dummy. My saving grace. Nobody will hate me. Everybody will think I'm smart again. No. Nope, on the dummy it works as well. So on the dummy and a difference of average, and obviously this is not nearly enough data points to like sit down and write a theory on this. But when you start going from minimum damages in the 200 range up to minimum damages in the 300 plus range, and then your maximum damage is representative of a greater than 50% increase, or at least a 50% increase over your minimum damage, it's very easy to see. Yes, it's absolutely working. So then what caused the problem yesterday? I got real afraid, and I thought it was snapshotting. Snapshotting has now had a bit of a sullied history in this game, but for people who weren't aware of what snapshotting is, the idea is that you would put on a thing, you would load into an instance, and then you would take that thing off. But because your character had loaded, the game would treat you as still having that buff. This is a big issue in the Abattoir of Zir. They had to like squash out a huge amount of the various types of snapshotting that exist in the game. If I'm not mistaken, I think that there are still some niche uses, and I'm happy to report that at the very least, whatever was causing the discrepancy yesterday was not snapshotting. So I tested this out. I came in with the ring equipped. I took off the ring by replacing it with a different ring with a different aspect. That's not normally how snapshotting works. The issue being that in yesterday's testing, I only had one source of Grasping Veins on, and the only thing I ever really changed out was just that ring. So I at least tried to replicate that. And I'm very happy to report that that is not leading to some kind of weird snapshotting bug either. So what happened? I don't know. I honestly don't know on this one. I'm not sure how I even made it happen. I'm still a little bit afraid of the concept that maybe there was some weird loading issue because like I had tested on a bunch of multiple types of dummies and maybe it just like wasn't properly representing what type of dummy it was. There's some kind of universe where like everybody watching and me like were just wrong, which is absolutely possible, right? Like human error is completely a thing. But basically what I'd like to do for you right now is just kind of summarize what I lied to you about, not by my intention, but you know what? Let's own up to it, right? I was wrong. And what you should know. So, Grasping Veins is seemingly functional as long as you cast Grasping Veins on the target. You get the damage bonus and you get the critical strike chance. Good job. That's kind of what we're hoping. Now, if you put on Ring of the Sacrilegious Soul and it casts Corpse Explosion, you'll notice that I do not gain the critical strike chance. If we were to go look at my critical strike chance inside of my planner right here, so I have critical strike chance of 13.9%. We're going to wait for it to autocast for us. Oh no, I need to make a corpse. Make a corpse. Make a corpse. There we go. We go back to my crit chance. I still only have 13.9% crit chance, but if I were to do this manually myself and actually cast it, boop, notice that I gained the critical strike chance. So Ring of the Sacrilegious Soul, still completely bugged, still not working with it. People saying it's not meant to activate it. It absolutely is, or at least it used to. Now, if they never intended for it to activate, that does just mean the Ring of Sacrilegious Soul has lost an incredible amount of power. So, hey, developers, if this was intentional, give it back, please. The Ring of Sacrilegious Soul is like just barely on the edge of okay to use in this game. And if you take away the fact that it procs Grasping Veins for us, you're killing this item. So please, hopefully that's not intentional. Hopefully that's just a bug. And then lastly, the thing that's probably the most relevant right now, just because we are playing with a lot of minions, is the fact that Grasping Veins will grant your minions the bonus critical strike chance that you gain when you manually cast it. So when I cast Grasping Veins here and I get my critical strike chance, my minions will gain that critical strike chance. But the way that Grasping Veins works is that it applies a debuff to your target. It doesn't increase your critical strike damage by 50%. The monster says if you do damage to it, that is a critical strike, multiplied by 1.5 or whatever your roll is. Because of this, it does not work for your minions. Your minions are not you. The debuff doesn't read your minions. The debuff reads you. So at the very least, for your minions, no, you're not getting the damage multi. Yes, you may still see Grasping Veins recommended because it turns out 25% crit chance for an aspect slot for your minions is still very powerful until you're in the end game when you have greater affixes and masterworks on your critical strike chance to be able to hit 100%. But at least for right now, that's what I got to report. I am so sorry for misinforming you. I don't know how it was possible that we got the results that we did. And if you were to actually look down in the comments section, while this is completely anecdotal, there are a lot of people reporting this. That's why it got reported up to me in the first place and why I even went and tested it. I'm not fully convinced that there isn't something going on here, some type of intermittent bug, some combination of things that may be leading to these weird inconsistencies with people's experiences with it, myself included. But that being said, let me take full responsibility. I'm so sorry if I led to you wasting the gold of re-imprinting or having to restat your gear. I know that sucks, myself included. I'm going to have to go do it for my own build. But I hope that this video at the very least can help to corroborate what people are seeing when it does work and give you back the option to add on this big damage multiplier. Thank you very much for your patience as we're testing out effectively an entirely new game. That's not a cop-out, but it's just basically we kind of have to relook at everything and go, does this still work the way that we think it did? Has it been changed? Is there a new bug? And as always, I hope that this video has helped you to better enjoy the game now that you can get your damage multi back. Thank you so much for watching. I truly hope that helps, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.